Let me just go ahead and start off by saying that this is one of the more thoughtful individuals that I've had the pleasure to get to know in my year and some change here at the University of Findlay. He's going to be starting us off, but don't go anywhere after he's done, because we got a star-studded list of absolutely stellar entertainment that you are going to want to see. Mr. Davis is also bringing his young son out onto the stage. This fun chair will be his. I hope he provides you some outstanding entertainment as well. Please give it up for Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. All right, here you go, champ. Come on. Pop a squat. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Hanging out? You good? Yeah. Okay, give me some. My boy, one more. There you go. Good evening. How we doing? Good? All right. I'm going to try to use this microphone as much as possible. I'm going to try to stand still, but I can't make any promises. My name is Alex Davis. Tonight I've got a fairly quick piece for you, if that's okay. So we'll go ahead and get started. You ready? Ready. All right, let's get it. Here we go. It was game point. The crowd was going wild. Some were happy, some were mad that I had so much style. See, this was Lafayette Park, and I was the only white. The rest were black and brown, all of us under bright lights. Friday night, smoking booze filled the air. When I first walked in, all I felt were firm stares. The park was in a frenzy. People climbing the fences, no way in or out. Forget the traditional entrance. See, this place was different. This was the Bronx, especially for me, a white kid from Vermont. How did I get here? The thought crosses my mind. My best friend from college said, ride home with me, and of course, I obliged. 5'10" and stocky, not tall, closer to short, but I was tough navigating broken glass on the court. All for the sport and the love of the game, never embarrassed about who I was, and I never felt shame. My face and my shirt drenched in all kinds of sweat, dribbling past half court while viewers placed their bets. I'm focused on the hoop. I penetrate the lane. I head towards the rim. The defender does the same. He tries to take my soul. I put my knee in his chest. Finger roll should do what it falls through the net. The park goes bananas. Tensions are high. We find a way out and made it home alive. Went back the next day. No one came at my neck. No longer a stranger. I had all their respect. It all felt surreal. It was a beautiful time. I'm glad I explored a landscape I couldn't first see with my eyes. I walk into a bar. No, this isn't a joke. The air filled with booze and cigarette smoke. I'm with my best friend. He's a guy from the town. No rap music, just guitar sounds. See, this is not what I'm used to. Everyone's white. I mean, I know that I'm black, but I am super light. Everyone's looking kind of unsure. I try to fit in, but man, I'm 6'4". My boy goes to the bathroom and leaves me alone. I'd feel way more comfortable if I was at home. This big guy approaches and asks why I'm there. I say, I'm here to have a good time. Why do you care? I can feel his energy taking a turn. I said, I'm from the Bronx. You can find out and learn. His buddies come close. They've got me boxed in. My boy is back from the bathroom. Thank God for my friend. He clocks the group leader right on the chin. Boom, bat, bow. We swing and we grin. Once again, it's on. It's a full-out brawl. We left mostly untouched and most certainly stood tall. See, this was small-town Vermont where I went to school, where being a person of color may not have been cool. Now, it could have been better, but it could have been worse. My best friend was white. This was definitely a first. I wouldn't change a thing. I am glad I explored. Get out of your zone. The world we must tour. Inclusion plus exploration equals togetherness. Just as important as inclusion is, exploration is of equal importance. Without both, we cannot have true unity, right? The two stories you just heard are based on true events from that of my dad and one of his best friends who I refer to as my uncle. Now, my uncle has told me these stories far too many times and can tell them both way better than I can. However, both stories incorporate three of the same characteristics. One, they both possess an individual who is willing to explore a landscape they're not familiar with, not comfortable with, maybe have never been in before, right? Two, they both possess an individual who is exploring a landscape that, at least at the very beginning, may not be welcoming of them, right? Even ostracizing, if you will, of them. And three, they both possess an individual who is inclusive of another individual. When I think about inclusion and exploration, I think about a time when my dad and I used to live on the northwest side of Dayton, Ohio. Wakefield Avenue to be specific. This was a predominantly black street. I remember only one other white household on the street. But my dad immersed himself in the cultural landscape of this area. He would go to the park to play pickup basketball games. He would play pickup games with the neighborhood kids. He would throw various house parties. He would, not saying that you should do that, to my mother's dismay, he did this. He would take me to a black barbershop down the street where I get a bald fade and 2 lines on the side of my head every trip. Now, some years later, fast forward, we moved to Centerville, Ohio. Centerville, Ohio is very white, incredibly white, extremely white, 99.9% white, if you will. They did not possess a black barbershop for all of my childhood and teenhood there. There was a level of exclusion there for me. Now, 4.5 years ago, I moved to Findlay, Ohio. And upon moving here, I just knew there's not going to be a black barbershop in Findlay, Ohio. I was going to have to drive to Toledo. I was dreading every second of it. But to my surprise, lo and behold, I stumbled upon Cliff's Corner. Cliff cuts my hair for the next 2 years. He relocates to Georgia. B. Harris, who used to cut at Cliff Shop, opens up his own spot. I get cut by B. Harris, who, for a year and some change before he relocates to Charlotte. Heem, who cut under B. Harris, as well as studied under Joe and Vic, 2 other barbers of color here in town, opens up his own space. Now my son and I get cut by Heem. I explain this timeline because these are individuals who are businessmen. They're entrepreneurs, right? They didn't receive grants or funding from the city to be put in place. They did this on their own. However, I do believe that cityscapes, towns, markets should figure out further how to be inclusive of not only the individuals that they currently occupy, but the individuals they wish to occupy, may occupy in the future, right? Potential residents of the town. Inclusion starts before those needing to be included arrive. Inclusion starts before those needing to be included arrive. Now, I was at Japan West yesterday, and I wasn't eavesdropping, I promise. I've got satellites on the side of my head, and I just happened to hear things. But there was an individual passing through town from an institution in Indiana on his way to Michigan, and he said he stopped here just because of Japan West. He didn't have to stop. He may not have even stopped before, but this is where he chose to stop to get lunch. And I was so happy to hear that because it meant that we had something to offer this individual, right? He was interested in a place here in town, which meant he was interested in our town. Once again, inclusion starts before those needing to be included arrive. We need to heighten our awareness, we need to heighten our acceptance, and we need to heighten our love. Inclusion plus exploration equals togetherness. Thank you. Ready? Come on.
Back there to get our...
That's right. You ready? Okay, baby. Thank you. Let's rock out. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Watch your step on these chords, okay? Watch your step.